Hey everybody, so I'm here in the southwest Arizona desert outside of the little town of Ehrenberg. I am close enough to California that I can see it from where I'm camped. Blythe, California is just about a mile west of here, just the other side of the Colorado River. The weather here during the summer is just about unbearable with triple-digit temperatures, but in the wintertime it's usually pretty nice, usually 60s or 70s. Sometimes only in the 50s for the day, and it's still pretty dry even in the winter. It is a desert after all. So last night we had a unusual rainstorm came in, and it rained pretty much off and on all night, sometimes really heavy, and was still showering a little bit this morning. And that doesn't happen too often here, and as a result of that, there's a surprising amount of vegetation here, but when you do find vegetation, it's almost always in the washes. This area is a lot of rock and sand, but it's cut through with numerous washes, some of them 20 or more feet deep. And so most of the vegetation you find, including even many of the cactus plants, are in these washes or along the edge of these washes. The soil is such that when the rare times when it does rain, the water just runs off the ground and collects into the washes. As a result of that, that's where you find the vegetation. The plants are all along the washes. So this morning I'm going to take you for a little walkabout, and we'll look around camp and some of the surrounding desert here and see how it looks after a fresh rain. You can see the mountains behind me, how they're shrouded in clouds still, and this storm's supposed to last until sometime this afternoon. Then it's supposed to quit raining and just be cloudy for a while and then cool down a bit after that. So let's go look around and see what it looks like here in the desert after a winter rain. This is a wash right behind my camp. This wash has been dry since we've been here. This creosote bush is getting a drink from all this water puddled along it next to the road. Here's a little puddle that's formed in a slight depression in some otherwise flat ground instead of draining into a nearby wash. And this puddle allows this creosote bush to thrive. And in the desert here, where it's flat, it really doesn't take much of a depression or a rut or anything like that to allow the water to collect and for plants to grow where that water collects after the rare rains. This is another wash that's a little ways from where I'm camped. I don't know if it shows in the camera here, but this water in this wash is actually several inches deep, probably 6 or 8 inches deep in places anyways. And this wash again is normally dry. I've never seen water in it before. Even the plants have all perked up after this rain last night and this morning. This is a really large barrel cactus that grows on the edge of this wash. So walking around out here in the desert after a rain is sort of interesting. It's all rock on the surface pretty much. Sometimes sand, but mostly rock on the surface, but it's mixed in with sand underneath. But with the rain, there'll be some soft spots. You're walking along on a rock and all of a sudden the ground just sinks beneath you, maybe several inches. It'll get your attention. Well, you can kind of see the water in this large sandy wash has already dried up. The ground around it is really soft, and I don't know how well it shows up in the video, but the sand is definitely wet still. It's just the water is already drained into the soil. Well, I'm walking along an old game trail beside this wash over here, and there's no evidence on the trail to tell me what kind of animals made this trail or how long ago this has been used, but it's definitely a little trail, and you find these occasionally, even in the desert where it's rocky. You'll still find places that have been worn down, and whether they're by deer, I just saw a mule deer a little bit ago. This probably spooked in a wash that was under a tree down in the wash, or whether they're by donkeys. There's some wild donkeys around here, so I'm not sure what made it, but there's a game trail and I'm following along here. They usually follow a pretty easy path, and so we'll go see what else we can find out here. Well, this is just a little further down from that sandy wash I showed you a moment ago that didn't have water in it still. Now, this is the same wash, it's just narrowed down here, and the water here is quite deep. At least looks like at least 6 inches deep over here. Well, we're almost back at camp, just one more small wash to get across. The animals and plants out here in the desert are grateful, I think, for this rain that's allowed them to get a drink and some refreshment. I'm grateful for you, my viewers, who decided to go along on this mini adventure with me to see what the desert looks like after a fresh rain. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.